Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to our Women's History Month One eXp panel hosted by Gracie Barnhill from eXp's Young Professionals, our newest chair. We are super thrilled to have all you ladies here today. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Guys, I'm so excited. Kymbrye worked really hard on putting this together just to get, highlight different voices and women from different backgrounds and different communities. So we are so excited to have you all here. Like Kymbrye said, my name is Gracie Barnhill. I'm the chair of eXp Young Professionals, based in Birmingham, Alabama, where I'm an associate broker. And I guess we'll jump in. Ashley, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. So Ashley Johnson here. I am a part of Black eXp Network. So I lead the socials and all the other stuff. I have a bunch of different things I do. I'm located in McKinney, Texas. So DFW Metroplex, if you don't know, Dallas is huge. So and I've been with eXp over 4 years now. Love it. It's all I've known. I love the organization, love everyone. And yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Love it. Rishan.
Hi, I am Rishan Spray. I am in Wichita Falls, Texas, which nobody's probably ever heard of, but I am a military spouse of 12 years. I have been in Wichita Falls for 4 years. I started real estate 2 years ago. I'm also a mother of two, but I serve mostly military clientele here in Wichita Falls.
Awesome. Taylor.
Hi, guys. I'm Taylor Aselin. I'm from Southern New Hampshire. I've been in real estate and with eXp for just over 2 years now. I am on the board for eXp Young Professionals, and I am now an ambassador for the Women's Impact Network as well.
Awesome. Love it. Kymbrye, did you introduce yourself or just me?
No, I didn't introduce myself. Oh my gosh. Hi, I'm Kymbrye Mooney. I serve the greater Albuquerque Metro here in New Mexico. I am the co-founder of eXp Capable, and I am on the board for eXp's Young Professionals.
I love how much background we're covering here with eXp Capable, Black eXp Network, Women's Impact, eXp Young Professionals. We're really covering a lot of different perspectives, which I'm so excited about. So I want to start off by asking, I want to know what inspired you guys to get into real estate and how has your background shaped your journey in real estate? Ashley, do you want to start us off?
Absolutely. All right. So that question. So first off, prior to real estate, I've been an entrepreneur for 15 years. Me getting into real estate, it was interesting. So it's like a whole story, but I'm not going to do the whole story. My aunt was actually my realtor. It was very interesting because she's my aunt. So it didn't, the way we've been taught to do real estate, it wasn't that experience. So, and then just getting into my home as an entrepreneur, my husband and I are both entrepreneurs. So there was a lot that we weren't educated on as far as those entrepreneurial we received cash, so we didn't have that already in the bank, and so that was a whole thing. But just going through that and navigating it on our own prompted me to want to get into real estate, and then just seeing the freedom of real estate and of course the financial gain from it. I was like, I need that, so I have 3 children. I have 3 boys, 19, 12, 13, good Lord, and 6. And so I'm a mom and I'm a wife, and it's important for me to be with my family. That's so important to me, so I was like, I need the freedom and I need the time. And what I was doing prior to that didn't allow for me to do that. I had to physically be there. And so real estate gives me that. It gives me what I need to cover all of that. So that's what prompted my journey into real estate. Yeah.
I love that. Rishan, tell us a little bit about how you got started in real estate and how your background has influenced your journey.
So prior to real estate, I was in the medical field and I worked all the time, sometimes 6 days a week, sometimes in between 8 to 12-hour shifts. And I'm a mother as well. And my husband is military, so sometimes he would deploy and I have to hold down the home front. So kind of like what Ashley was saying, that freedom of my own schedule and being in control of my own schedule and still having time to balance family, fun, and a personal life in general. So I love real estate for that aspect. Also, every home I've bought it's always been sight unseen. So we didn't have the best experience, and I wanted to have financial freedom in the sense of real estate and help others. And so that inspired me a lot. I was like, when we moved to Texas, I was like, you know what, I could do this. I'm a people person. I could go and represent people and help people, especially the folks moving sight unseen. That was huge because I always tell my clients I want to put them in a home that I would live in myself. And so I was just connected with people in that way. But that definitely helped me shape my background in real estate, was having hands-on experience, not having the best experience with real estate.
Got it. And Taylor, do you want to tell us about getting started?
So it all started, my mom got licensed in 2008 when everything was crashing. And I was 8 years old at the time. I didn't know what was going on. My mom's a huge hustler and a badass. I hope I can say that. She actually did just get designated as number 21 in volume out of all of eXp. So she's a rock star. I grew up with her in real estate, and the whole time I was like, I will never do that. That looks terrible. And then I went to college. I tried a couple different jobs, just trying to, figure out what I wanted to do. And then I was working the front desk at a salon and a spa, which was pretty fun. But I came home from work one day and my mom said, Taylor, I have a check on my desk from one transaction for what you'd make in a year at your job now. And I was like, oh. And so it just clicked. And obviously I don't do things just for money. But I was like, you know what? She's been on my case for years. Let me just try it and see what I learn. And it just really, I love it now. It took off into a whole new passion. And it's been huge learning experience. And I'm super grateful for that. And I work with my mom too, which is awesome.
I love that.
Sweet. Kymbrye, tell us a little bit about getting started into real estate and how that's influenced your journey.
Yeah. I was a stay-at-home mom. I got licensed in April 2021. So COVID was still a huge deal. It was the most insane market that we had ever seen in real estate. We sold our personal home the following October. We listed it at 8 a.m. and it was sold by, I think, 6 p.m. We had 15 offers. And it was my first transaction and it was terrifying. And my team leads were like not helpful at all. So I was just trying to figure everything out all at once. And it was so much pressure. But I had gotten started because I was a stay-at-home mom. I wanted to do something to make money, but I knew I didn't want to be in an office all day and I didn't want to pay for daycare. So I was like, I'll do some real estate. I've always been interested in it and, make a few extra bucks a year and maybe I'll like fund a vacation or something and that would be cool. And then after my first year of real estate, I was like, okay, I think I love this and I'm not going to do it part-time anymore. So from that point on, I was off the team and doing it solo and it has been chaos, but it's been really cool. And my kids have what we call realtor mode. Like if they come with me to do things, we'll be like, okay, we're in realtor mode. And they will try to be more calm and they'll walk in like a little line and they'll be like, follow me to the master bedroom and like, follow me over here. And like, it just cracks me up getting to watch them because kind of like Taylor, your experience of like watching your mom, I hope that's what I'm teaching my kids. And, like my mom was a single mom, so I know she was a badass working her butt off. So real estate has been amazing for me and I love it so, so much.
That's so, so sweet. I when I got started, I decided I was going to be a real estate agent at a really young age. I was 12 and I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I stuck with it. Had a 10-year plan. We're getting ready to hit that 10-year anniversary soon, which is exciting. I got in at 19 and I was, bright-eyed and I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be awesome. That first month was a little rocky. I was surrounded by people who really didn't think that young people should be in real estate. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, is this what my next 20 years is going to look like until I'm old enough to be selling in real estate? And I moved brokerages, joined eXp, and immediately, night and day difference, I was welcomed with open arms. People were so excited and met me with just so much enthusiasm about my age. I've received so much support from eXp, from our agents here, from our staff. It's been something really special, especially when I talk to other young people or people who got started really early. A lot of people don't get that experience. So I think with the way that eXp is kind of modeled to be easy for young people and for new people to get into, that was my experience for the most part, was very positive. Outside of eXp, of course, there were challenges with people that were still very like, you're too young for this. I had little girl comments, things like that were very discouraging. But behind me was this huge, powerful network of people that really supported me and were enthusiastic about my age. So I would say that's how that background has influenced my career today, 3 years later. So that covers our first question. If y'all are ready, I want to move into the second one. I want to know from you guys, again, we're all coming from very diverse backgrounds. What's one challenge you've faced in the industry because of your identity or your background, and how did you overcome it? Kymbrye, do you want to start us off with this one?
Sure. Yeah. For me, the biggest challenge I think was like I had mentioned before, I was on a team when I got started, and I thought that was going to be like really beneficial for me, that I was going to have a lot of support. It did not turn out that way, and I wound up getting dumped from the team. Essentially, they said I was too immature because I put my kids first, and they didn't think I was going to do well in real estate. I think a huge part of that was I wanted to learn a lot, and I was constantly asking questions, and I wasn't willing to just like learn at the pace they wanted to teach me. I wanted to know now, and like, I want to shadow you. I want to go with you to this. I want to learn about it. And I think that was kind of overwhelming, maybe. I don't know. But for me, that was it was really disappointing and difficult. But then I kind of was like, you know what? I got into real estate for my family, and I'm going to make the best of it. So from that point on, I was like, I'm all in on my career, and this is what I want to do. And joined a bunch of One eXp resource groups and connected with a bunch of new people. Really connected a lot with like my state broker and our team here in New Mexico. We have less than 300 eXp agents, so we're really small. And we have one broker, and we meet with him every Monday, and he's amazing. Our entire like staff here from eXp in New Mexico is super hands-on and helpful. So it was a huge shift going from thinking I was going to get support to being completely dumped from all of that and having to figure it out myself. But I grew up hard of hearing, and I'm a sexual abuse survivor, so I have been through a lot, and this wasn't that big of a challenge. I knew I could take it on, so that shifted, I think, a lot in me, knowing that I didn't want to disappoint myself more than anybody else.
It's a really hard thing, and I'm so sorry you went through that. You show so much resilience in being able to show up for yourself now, as an adult and as an entrepreneur, because we all know, like, it can be really tough to always show up for yourself and for your business and for your clients. And I think that really speaks again to your resilience. Ashley, do you want to touch on a challenge you faced in the industry because of your identity?
Yes. So for me, I may have Jamaican in my blood. I don't know. So people that know me, they know Ashley as doing this, that on the go, you know? And so my first year in real estate, I was just so excited. So I'm just taking anything I can, you know, even if it's not in my area where I live, I'm like, I'm going to take it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it, you know? And so that would compromise my family life. Right. And so I found myself doing that too much. And I was like, hey, I just left, you know, what I was doing as an entrepreneur to come over here to have more freedom, but this doesn't feel like freedom.
Right.
I feel like I'm doing the same thing. So it just boiled down to I had to have a come to Jesus. And also just watching other women within eXp, how they've operated their businesses, what they're doing and what they teach. Like I love Amy Gregory. I love GoGo. I love Beth. That's my organization. And just watching them, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense, right? So for me, I've had to really focus on creating boundaries within my business. Boundaries. And then another thing for me, that goes with the boundaries is having systems in place so that it moves, nice and smooth. And I have a self-organized team. So, and most of, my people are brand new. So I'm their mentor as well. So I'm getting them on board and teaching them the same thing. And, we're all able to help each other. And so, yeah, that's been huge for me, creating those boundaries, focusing on the family, focusing on myself, number one. So 2024 gave me a hard lesson. I was recently diagnosed with autoimmune disorder. Rare, never heard of it. Myositis, which is inflammation of the muscles. So that put me out of commission for a minute. And it was like my husband had to step up, take over some things. I think he saw how much I was doing, which is probably too much, right? So yeah, that's been huge for me. And it's just an ongoing thing, but I know now like how important it is as far as my health and my family. Like, take care of Ashley first, then I can take care of other people the way that they need to be taken care of. So yeah, that's been my thing.
I love that.
I love that too. That's a really tough thing, a tough diagnosis to like come face to face with, especially when it's not something that's common.
Right.
Yeah. Rishan, did you want to jump in on this question?
Yeah. So a challenge I faced kind of when I first started, because I've only been doing it for 2 years. So for Wichita Falls to only have 100,000 people in it, there are over 600 agents in our MLS. So there is a lot of agents. I was new. I started to compare myself to others, which was really not healthy. I'm a very confident individual, but when you go into something and you're new and you don't really feel as if you're as educated as others who have been doing it for a long time, you start to compare yourself to people. And I overcame that by, I set healthy goals for myself. Like, it doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. I don't care who sold this. I don't care about your numbers. I don't care about any of that. If I can set my own goals and I reach them, that is truly what is going to make me happy. And I did that within my first year and my second. So I'm super blessed in that aspect of things. But another thing within my business is that was a struggle at first, was time management. I was afraid to leverage out certain things. I was afraid to get a transaction coordinator because I like to be in control of everything. And I finally started doing that towards the end of last year. So that's been a huge help in my business. But time management and comparing myself to others was a huge challenge for me at first. But now I don't do that as much. I mean, I'm not perfect. Obviously, I see others and I'm like, I want that. I'm gonna get it. But in all aspects of everything, those were 2 huge challenges for me in the beginning.
Taylor, would you like to jump in?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I just want to say you guys are all incredible, strong, resilient women, and
Oh, thank
I'm very, honored to be a part of this panel with you.
Too.
So a challenge I faced, so I was officially licensed when I was 23, and I totally felt like super incapable and like I wasn't, like I didn't deserve, any kind of business or clients or anything because I was young, and I think I was feeling outside pressure, and there's so much to learn and so much you don't know.
Mhm.
So the learning curve was huge for me. And in addition to that, I was at a family friend holiday party, and I had this grown woman come up to me and ask me how my licensing process was going and how business was. And so I'm telling her, and she's like, "Oh, well, I would never use you. You're way too young." And like that hurt, obviously. That's not fun to hear. But I kind of took that as fuel to feel like that and to prove her wrong, and to prove myself wrong, because my internal dialogue had been telling me the same thing, even though I knew I just had more to learn to get comfortable. So getting over that, I kept, putting myself to work. I followed my mom everywhere. I started going to inspections, following the home inspector around, being like, "What's that in the basement? I don't understand what that tube is. Like, what does that do?" Just learning as much as I can, and constantly putting yourself in uncomfortable situations is where you grow the most. So that's kind of what helped me overcome that. And it made me feel so much more confident in myself and my business and what I'm doing. So
I love that. I had a really similar experience getting started at 19. Again, like people within my company, within eXp, were always very supportive. But outside of eXp, dealing with other agents, dealing with clients, I took a lot of abuse on the front end. I dealt with a lot of hostility because I thought that I deserved it, because I felt like an intruder, like I wasn't meant to be here. The average real estate agent is 57 years old now. So getting started, at 19, it was like, I don't belong here. I'm not welcome here. This is not my space. The average real estate agent 3 times older than I was. And so I took a lot of really degrading comments and behavior and treatment that I thought that I deserved, because that's just a part of the job, right? No. And I wish someone had told me that sooner. I kind of hit a breaking point where I was like, okay, either I'm quitting because I can't do this anymore, or I'm going all out all the time. And I decided I was going to go all in. I wasn't going to let people push me around. I was just going to be like my most authentic self. I wasn't going to try and dress like a 57-year-old real estate agent, speak like a 57-year-old real estate agent. I say bro and dude and that's rad and cool beans to every single one of my clients and every other business professional. That's just my nature. It's just who I am. But as soon as I started like accepting that, hey, like, yeah, I'm going to be a real estate agent at this age, I happen to be pretty dang good at it. It was like, okay, like I don't have to try and dress like, I'm on HGTV. I'm not. So I think that was the biggest like hurdle that I had to overcome in my first year.
Nice.
Do you guys had that experience where you didn't necessarily like feel welcome or felt out of place?
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. For many reasons, but I feel like here it's a small town vibe. And if you're not from here, if you didn't go to school here or college here, they already look at you like you're not welcome. And then being a military spouse always has its pros and cons too, moving to a new area, but moving here and then being an agent and having so much success in the beginning, I think people were like, okay, this is, it was just a lot. It was a lot to handle being new. And I definitely had those hurdles to jump over as well. I'm not as young as you guys, but I definitely had to deal with some stuff like that too. So
I would say probably not, but I had one one incident. I thought it was funny though. So it was with our local board, and we have this event that we have every year, right? And so I had just gotten my license, and when you do the training online for the MLS, they give you the little realtor pin. Right. So I'm wearing my pen, I'm putting my pen on, and I get there at the event. And of course, most of the people that are there, they're older. Like you said, they're in their 50s. They're probably not even really doing real estate. They're just investors now. Right. But they come and hang out and eat and do whatever. And so we're standing in line for the caricature because they have a caricature person there. And they're like, oh, look at her. She's so cute. You must be new with that little realtor pen. So I thought it was cute. I didn't take offense to it. I was like, oh, okay.
It's like being like a freshman on college campus and you're like decked out head to toe in college gear. Yeah. Well, I want to shift to a positive question. Can you guys share a moment in your career that made you feel truly empowered or validated in your work? A moment in your career that made you feel empowered.
I can go. So last year in 2024, they have a community vote that gets sent out to businesses, pretty much anyone and everyone. And they have different categories of like the best bakery in town, the best car wash, whatever. So I won best real estate agent of 2024 in all of Wichita Falls, which was super shocking because you have to be nominated. I still to this day have no clue who put me up for the nomination, but after I won that award, I was like, okay, I can pat myself on the back. I was super, super proud of myself, especially because like how we talked about, people love pointing out, oh, you're new, or you don't really know, you're not from here. But to win that award, and I got a plaque and everything, and it was super, super, super exciting for me, and I was super proud of myself. So
Congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you.
That is
People
wonderful.
are watching us whether we know it or not.
Yeah.
And the universe
That's so true.
Yeah. I love that. So for me, I would say dealing with clients that maybe they were like a rental client, they didn't think it was possible to purchase a home, but just getting them to believe they could actually do it, and not pushing them, not pressuring them, like, hey, okay, let's do that, and then we'll work on blah blah blah. But just the authentic feedback from those clients, that makes me feel empowered. Like that is so huge. And they're like, the way they'll tell me like, you changed my life. Like I didn't think I could do, you know what I mean? And you're like, what? You're like, that's easy, that's simple. What do you mean change your life?
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm really changing someone's life. They didn't think it was possible. I gave them, whether it was intentional or not, they gain the courage, to believe in themselves and just take it even further. And, we're always in constant contact. So I get to see how they're living, see what they're doing. They're reaching out to me, and just a smile on their faces, just all of it, the whole thing. That's huge. That's huge. Yeah.
I love that.
I do too.
Yeah.
Kymbrye, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, thank you. I think the biggest moment of validation for me was getting a call from Jessica Nieto and Holly Mabry earlier this year asking if I would speak on 2 different panels for eXpCon. And I had spoken once before, and that was such an honor, but to have 2 separate groups asking me to please represent them and to speak on my experience was just like, I'm just a small fish in a really big pond. Like, okay, great, I'll share what I know. But just having people want to hear my story and want to know more about me and want to understand what I know and all of those things, like that was so eye-opening to me. But I have to agree with Ashley. Honestly, I get reassured constantly with my clients, and the reviews that they write of me, or the way that they speak so highly of me to others, or even just like the way that they speak to me. It's just so rewarding and like really refreshing. And it's such a reminder that we are making a really significant impact in people's lives in a really bunch of collective ways, not just selling them homes.
Yes.
I love that. Yeah, and you did a fantastic speaking at EXPCon last year. So I'm really excited to see what you do this year. I think that's going to be really awesome. Love to have YP represented. Taylor, can you tell us about a time you felt empowered in your work?
So getting started with real estate obviously is a big change, and a lot of hurdles, a lot of figuring out what the heck you're supposed to do. And it takes time to establish yourself. So one of my first clients, we were looking for mobile homes, and I feel like with a lot of real estate agents, there's a big stigma on like mobile homes, like they won't waste their time helping people with that. But people are people, they all need homes, it does not matter. So honestly, these clients were kind of big pains in my butt, if I can say that too. We worked together for months, and I've come to realize that the clients who are the biggest pains, you kind of grow the fondest for. I don't know how that happens, but like we just built a big connection, and we ended up like adoring each other. Long story short, we get them a mobile home. It's one of my first few sales, so I'm like so excited. And then at the closing, the husband starts crying, and the wife is talking to me, and she's like, yeah, he was trying to hold it together. This is his first home he's ever bought. He's in his 60s. He never thought he'd be able to buy a home in his life. So like, this is really big for him. And I was like, oh my God, like this is like what it's all about. Like it's so much more. We're a huge part of these people's lives and making a huge important decision. And it's just so special and significant to be able to do that and to help. So that like really put everything into perspective for me. I'm like, you guys are worth all the pain you caused. I will do this for you a million times over if you want.
I think that's why we like grow so fond of our most difficult clients, is like, I feel like there's always some kind of backstory or something that we don't know about. And once we find it, we're like, oh, if you just said that up front, I wouldn't have gotten so frustrated.
Exactly.
I agree. I love that story, Taylor.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
For me, I would say one of my recent relocation clients last year, we do a lot of really meaningful, impactful work. But one that was really particularly fulfilling for me, there was a bunch of fires last year out on the West Coast. And one of the couples that I worked with was trying to get out of one of those states because the fires had gotten bad. And then on the non-fire season, tourism had gotten really bad. And so the week that they flew down to look at houses, there were active wildfires going on in their community. So this was an older couple moving down to Alabama to escape that weather. Not only that, we closed right after. She was like, my son's ready to get out of there too. Like him and his family are coming down. So to be able to relocate that entire family because they needed somewhere safe to be. And I mean, what a crazy decision to move across the entire country, but became very close with those clients. I still talk to them regularly. And that's just been really fulfilling. They have loved Alabama. They have felt so welcomed here. Every time I talk to them, it's the same thing. They're just so happy to be here. And it's so fulfilling to know that I helped someone move their entire family across the country to have a safer, happier life. That's really fulfilling to me.
Yeah.
We all have those clients, right? That like you're always going to remember what it was like to help that person. That's one of mine.
Love it.
So if we're going to move to our next question, tell me about a time when another woman or mentor lifted you up in the industry. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. So I have to say that one of the most impactful women that I have met was Jessica Nieto, but also Holly Mabry. last year alone, I watched them just like celebrate everyone around them constantly, praising everybody for even like the smallest things. But having them in my corner and knowing that I could reach out and say, like, this is a struggle I'm having, or I'm afraid of this, or this is my pain point. And for them, I know that both of them would drop everything and just celebrate me and try and raise me up, because I think that that's just what they're phenomenal at. But I also think that there are so many women within YP that I have become close friends with, or have been able to celebrate their lives and share their stories with them. And it's just genuinely, like Gracie said earlier in the panel, like eXp is built different. And I have experienced women who we never met in real life, and they're still like, what are you doing today? I'm so proud of you. Everything that you're doing is amazing. You're killing it. You're great. And like, you don't even know me. You don't know my kids. Like, you've never met me in real life, but like, you are opening your heart and your arms to me. And that's just so incredible, especially in this industry. I deal with other agents from other brokerages all the time who are like so standoffish and defensive. And I'm like, why? We could be friends. Like, I don't care where you go, like where you work or who you work for. Like, let's hang out.
Right.
I just have to say, like, basically every woman within eXp is just a whole different kind of woman, because it takes so much to be a girl's girl, and it's not hard, but it's really impactful when you are. So, and even like you girls just stopping everything to be here for this panel, and we've never met. So I love it. And I'm so grateful for all of you.
So sweet.
Beautiful.
Ashley,
I'm-
Rashawn, go ahead.
No, Ashley, you can go.
No, you go. No.
No, you go.
For me, are you going?
No, you go.
For me, I would say, well, number one is going to be my mom. She just, her perspective and outlook on life is amazing. So, we can have conversations, and she doesn't even have to know what it is, and it's up. I'm up, right? I would say within my organization. So I joined eXp with a really good friend. She sponsored me, and she's in Chicago. So she's freaking amazing, but she's very particular. Like, she had done all the different brokerages, and I was just watching her, like seeing what she was doing, So when I got done with getting my license, I'm like, okay, where am I going? And so just watching her story, her journey, I was like, oh, I'm going where she's going. And she chose GoGo, right? She chose to partner with GoGo. And so I will say, being a part of GoGo's organization is huge. I'm the type of person, I don't need anything sugar-coated for me. I like it direct, however it is, just say it how it is. Tell me. And that's what I love about GoGo, and that's what I love about Beth. So I can, and I love that, some people may look at them, maybe if they're new to the brokerage, whatever, and they may think that they're untouchable, but they're not. Like, I can call GoGo when I get off this call, I can call Beth, I can send her a text. She's going to respond. She's going to talk to me. She's going to lift me up. She's going to tell her how it is. So within my business, those three are definitely like my sponsor and the Team GoGo organization. And like you said, all the women, I haven't had any bad experiences with any of the women within eXp. So, yeah, a lot of people are leading by example. I'm watching them, and I love it. I love it. So I'm always encouraged.
I love that so much.
I would say Lauren Ray, or Hillard Ray. I met her, so I knew Spencer a little bit before I had met Lauren, and I met her finally in person at eXpCon, and she is a gem. She is the sweetest woman. I mean, she literally lifts up everybody and anyone who needs it. But I became an ambassador of Women Impact Network, and she FaceTimed me to tell me that I had gotten a position. And I mean, she's emotional, I'm emotional. So she's a very busy woman. And for her to take time out of her day to FaceTime me and make me feel of importance and to let me know that she's here for me no matter what. I mean, I text her and I'm like, how are you doing? How are you feeling? She's always there. She's always uplifting me. Just a God-fearing, good woman. And I absolutely adore her. And she is a good person to have in your corner. So
I love Lauren. She
I do
is
too.
such a freaking powerhouse woman. She is a connector, just a ball of energy. She's been very supportive of me as well over the last, couple of years that I've known her. Just absolutely love her. Taylor, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, you stole my person, Rishan. I really was gonna talk about Lauren also because she's had such an impact on me and my confidence and being in this industry. So I have gotten to know her through eXp Young Professionals, just little over a year and a half since I've been in it, and obviously meeting virtually, but she's always, the way she speaks, the way she carries herself is just very powerful, but like full of grace as well. And she's just such a special person. And growing up, like my only role models have pretty much been my parents, but like meeting her, I'm like, she's my role model. Just everything about her. I could write a book, I feel like. I adore her. And she's always there for everyone, which is such an incredible part of her. And I finally also did get to meet her at eXpCon, and we were standing off to the side just chatting one-on-one for a minute, and I was telling her how much I look up to her and all that, and she was like, Taylor, I believe in you. I basically just saying a bunch of wonderful things back, and I didn't know how much I needed to hear someone say they believed in me, but I really did, and it was so impactful. And then I sent her a long text after eXpCon. I was on my way to the airport. I'm all emotional, sad to leave everyone. And she sent me this incredible video, texted it to me, talking about, meeting me and how much she thinks so highly of me. And I'm like, no, that's you. But so Lauren's amazing. And as for all of you as well, of course.
For our viewers, Lauren is the vice chair of the Women's Impact Network. She's a Texas state leader for eXp Young Professionals. And as you can tell, she is adored across eXp as just being such a connector. She really, really pours into people. She's definitely one of the more influential women in our company and in the organization of One eXp. She's also just the certified girls girl. That is the president of Girls Girl certification. Just absolutely love her. I would say, of course, Lauren has had a huge impact on my life, but I would be remiss if I didn't also mention Jenny Williams. She's the leader of X Team, the virtual organization I'm a part of. That woman, I have called her no less than a dozen times in the last 3 years, just bawling my eyes out. I'm a crier. I'll be the first person to say it.
Me too, girl.
And it has not mattered the time of day. It's not mattered the issue. She has had my back time and time again. She is she's got such a motherly spirit. So she's very she takes care of people, very much so the Southern woman of put your back. We'll get it taken care of. She has been such an incredible mentor to me. And she just, God, that woman has kept me in the business in my worst moments. And that's I feel that's kind of what we as women do. We really I always feel very motivated and uplifted and challenged by the women around me. It's one of the benefits of eXp Young Professionals. And I imagine you guys feel it in the other areas of One eXp. But our network as women within this organization is just so powerful. And I love it. We're gonna move on to the next one. What advice would you give to someone from an underrepresented group who's just starting in real estate?
I can go.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, especially, I know I felt like I was living on an island, stranded, alone. um, I think that's pretty common for this business starting out, especially like you when you don't know anyone, you don't know what's going on, you don't know how to start. I feel like just find some kind of group, find some community, jump into it, see how it feels, find your people, because that's like kind of what I did. I was licensed for 3 months, I think, when I got into young professionals. And immediately I was like, oh my God, I found people I can relate to more in this industry. And it just lifted so much weight that I didn't know I was carrying off my shoulders. And I was like, okay, these people have got my back. I feel very connected to them. So just jump into things and try new things and know that you're not alone as much as you may feel like it. And eXp has so many wonderful communities to be a part of, and everyone is so kind.
Rishan, what piece of advice would you give?
Kind of to piggyback off what Taylor was saying, I think finding your group of people that you can connect with, finding a community, or, you know, even if it's going and volunteering, and making genuine connections with people, I feel like is super huge. Even in the small town that I live in, like everyone knows me at the local coffee shop because I give them all of my money. But I've met good people there too, you know, so just going out and making good connections with people, and finding your tribe is super, super important. And within that, they know other people that'll help you branch out and meet other people. And it's like the circle of life. You'll find your tribe, even if it's one person. I'm sure one person knows another person, and they know someone, and you find interest in, you know, find a common interest, and you guys can all connect that way. So I do think that's huge.
Absolutely. And I would say for me, it would be just show up authentic. You know how you mentioned earlier, Gracie, about, you know, thinking you need to come into the industry and dress like 50-year-old, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Show up as, you know, yourself authentically, and then you will attract your tribe, your real tribe. You showing up as someone else, you're not going to get what you expected. And then I like to, you know, tell people, like, own your story, like own who you are, own your struggles. Like, that stuff was there for a reason, you know, and that just paves the way for other conversations, or for you to be an inspiration to someone else. Own that stuff, and then get a mentor early. And, you know, once you find your tribe, you know, I like to say, you know, find people who are on your level and doing better than you. And you know, whoever it is, get in those rooms with your authentic tribe. Get in there with them, be with them. You know, yeah. Start there.
Yours leads perfectly into mine, Ashley, because I totally second showing up as your like genuine self. I think like I will wear my Nike tennis shoes and a pullover sweatshirt and have 2 kids in tow to meet clients sometimes, and like I'm not gonna like pretend that that's not who I am. Like, my kids are everything, and I have clients who tease me because I collect Starbucks tumblers, and I have easily 100 of them at this point. It's insane. And I have clients that are like, well, we would have bought you a tumbler, but we don't know if you already have it. That's me. And like my friends growing up through like elementary and middle school called me Kim Possible. And so like I made it into part of my branding, like, call me, beat me if you want to reach me. Like, I'm readily available all the time to help my clients. And, you know, that's who I am. And I've won referrals. I've won clients from people being like, I found you on Instagram, and like, you're so bubbly and outgoing. Like, is that really your personality? I'm like, yeah, I couldn't fake it. Like, I just couldn't fake who I am, because this is it. You get what you see, you get what you pay for. And I think that's like the best advice. And also, I think like kind of what Taylor said is like looking for somebody that you admire and you can look up to, and letting them know how you feel, because chances are they're going to be a lot more likely to pour into you and support you if they know that that's what you need from them. And like you said, Ashley, like finding a mentor, I think finding a mentor that can teach you the industry, but also finding a mentor that can teach you confidence and can teach you like stand in who you are, because taking up that space, that's your right. It's not a privilege. It's owed to you. Like, do what's right for you and be who you are, because people are going to appreciate that. And the people who deserve to be in your life, like Ashley said, will be in your life when you are yourself up front. So I love that advice. That's mine.
I love all of that. That's really good advice. As you guys kept rattling them off, I'm like, oh shoot, okay, I gotta pick something else. I gotta pick something else. I would say one of the biggest pieces of advice that I really wish people knew getting started is to scrap the perfection. Show up authentically. You guys said it. I would look for people who are failing often, because they are succeeding just as often. You're successful people, when we look at these really big powerhouse real estate agents, they will tell you about all of the times that they have failed, because failure is a really good thing. You know, if you aren't failing, you aren't trying hard enough. So I love failure. I love rejection. I encourage people to embrace both of those things. It's hard. It's scary to hear the word no. But the more times you hear it, number one, you'll get better at hearing it. But number two, you'll push yourself further than you thought you could go. I'm a big fan of that challenge that went viral on social media a while back, the rejection sensitivity challenge. Put yourself in position to be rejected. Say it again.
I was going to say that too, the rejection sensitivity challenge.
The rejection, I did that last year, and it took me places I never thought I could go. I did things last year I never thought I'd do, because of that challenge. So scrap the perfection, embrace rejection, embrace failure, because if you don't, you're going to hit a plateau. To avoid that, to keep growing and to keep getting bigger, you've got to face rejection. It'll be the best thing that's ever happened to you.
Agreed.
So with that, that wraps all of our questions. Do you guys have anything else you'd like to add before we say our goodbyes?
Oh, man. I'll just say.
I'm a fan of the awkward pause. I got all day.
I will say, I think on that last question, one of the best pieces of advice that I've ever gotten from somebody was approach somebody that you look up to, like I said, and let them know how you feel about them. And I would say, because of this panel, like, I can't wait to meet Ashley and Rishan in person at the next big in-person event and just give you guys a big squeeze. I've already gotten to meet Gracie and Taylor in person, and I'm just looking forward to getting to know you guys a little bit better. But it just gives me so much hope and joy in this industry to see other women who are showing up and doing things differently and making such an enormous impact and truly leading the way fearlessly for the rest of us. And I am so, so honored to be on this panel with each of you. You guys, you make such a difference, and I hope that you remember that in all that you do.
I love it. Love you guys. So, so grateful for your insights today. I hope that our viewers got something valuable out of this. Understanding different perspectives and expanding your worldview is so crucial to developing ourselves and our characters. So thank you guys so much for participating in this.
Thank you.
You guys. It's been awesome getting to know you guys.
Is everybody, are we all going to eXp